This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Kern Spencer calls on NWC to remedy St. Elizabeth water woes. Chairman of the People's National Party's Region 5, Kern Spencer, is calling on the National Water Commission to swiftly restore water supply to sections of St. Elizabeth. He told the news on Sunday that he is also making a plea to the relevant authorities to truck water to areas in St. Elizabeth that have been without the commodity for several days. If NWC is having problems, why aren't we trucking water to the affected area in St. Elizabeth that has been without water for days? I am receiving calls minutely from the residents all over. Come on, man, things are already so rough in the country with these price increases. Let us at least give the people a little water so they can drink and live in dignity until the situation is fixed, said Spencer. The NWC on Sunday advised the customers via Twitter that the disruption is due to an electric issue that is currently impacting operations at the Darling Tober well in St. Elizabeth. The Black River Hospital is among the facilities affected by the disruption. Other areas include Crawford, Hilltop, Brompton, and Parrotty Beach. NWC said it regrets any inconvenience caused by the disruption and that a maintenance team is working to resolve the matter in the shortest possible time. 4 charged in connection to Westmoreland gun find. The Westmoreland police are investigating the seizure of a chrome and a black 9mm pistol along with a magazine containing 4 rounds of ammunition on the Frome Main Road in the parish on Saturday, January 29. 4 men have been charged in connection to the find. They are Andre Scott, 18-year-old auto mechanic of Lennox Bigwoods in Westmoreland; Nigel Walton, 21-year-old construction worker of Charlestown in St. Mary; Damian Wright, 28-year-old fisherman of White House, Westmoreland; and Michael Holwell, 39-year-old taxi operator of Black River in St. Elizabeth. Reports from the Whithorn police are that about 12:06 p.m., a police team was on patrol when a vehicle with the men aboard was intercepted and searched. The weapon was found in the car. The vehicle, along with the firearm and ammunition, were seized for processing. All 4 accused were subsequently charged. Security guard injured in Ocheria's machete attack. A man wreaked havoc in the town of Ocherias shortly after nightfall Saturday, using a relatively long silver-bladed machete to chop a supermarket security guard twice, then roaming the streets with a weapon in his grasp and a fierce cold on his face. During the brazen attack, the police unusually were nowhere to be found in the town. However, the streets were packed with people doing their usual weekend shopping. Many onlookers scampered for cover. However, it appeared the security guard at the Sophia's supermarket along Upper Main Street was the machete-wielding man's sole target. The security guard, reportedly chopped in the face and on his hands, ran frantically to save his life. The attacker went in pursuit of him in the crowded streets, but eventually stopped amid an uproar by some residents. Not using any of the alleys in the area to escape, the offender walked down Main Street with his machete openly displayed. He returned to the supermarket about 10 minutes later, seemingly searching for his victim again. By that time, the wounded security guard had been taken to seek medical treatment. Not even one police not there in the big town when you need them, a bystander complained, furious about the attacker's brazenness. The man who carried out the attack eventually left Ocheria's town center at 6:50 p.m. in a taxi. He reportedly boarded the vehicle along with other passengers in the area where Parrytown and Pimento Walk taxis are usually parked at night. He is said to be middle-aged, of dark complexion and a stout build, and he was wearing a white shirt at the time of the incident. About 15 minutes after the offender left the town, the police appeared at the crime scene, lights flashing. They spent a relatively short time there before they left. Another group of lawmen visited the supermarket about 10 p.m. to conduct further investigations. It is not yet clear to the news what caused the incident. There have been a number of violent attacks involving the use of knives and machetes in Ocherias in recent months. A few weeks ago, another man was rushed to the hospital after he was stabbed during a fight at a makeshift business place located across the road from the supermarket where the incident took place Saturday evening. And 3 months ago, a handcart vendor, Darnell Baxter, died after he was stabbed in the neck with a knife on Newlyn Street in the town. DPP hands over legal opinion in Floyd Green No Movement Day matter. Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn has now handed over to the police her legal opinion in the Floyd Green No Movement Day matter. Green, who was the agriculture minister, was captured on video at a September birthday party at the R Hotel in St. Andrew on a day when movement was restricted under the Disaster Risk Management Act as part of the COVID containment measures. Llewellyn said her opinion was presented to the police on Friday. She told the news that it is at least 8 pages. Last year, Fitz Bailey, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the Crime and Security Portfolio, indicated an August 11, 2021 amendment to the order under the DRMA removed the requirement for exempted people like government officials to only move on lockdown days in the course of their duties. There is a carte blanche ability to move by these individuals, including ministers of government, said Bailey. Today, Llewellyn declined to say how much this impacted her legal opinion. Green last year resigned as agriculture minister after the video went viral. Counsel for the Mona Division in St. Andrew, Bellamy, and the Green's associate Gabriel Hilton were also at the party. They also resigned from several state boards. However, in January, Green was reappointed to the cabinet, this time as a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Persons permitted to leave their abode or place of residence during the specified hours during the relevant periods include the holder of an office or for the purposes of employment, service, activity, or authorization or duties described below. The holder of any of the following offices: the office of Governor General, office as a member of either House of Parliament, and the office as a member of the judiciary. Jamaican law enforcement officers in U.S. pitch suggestions to take the beast. Law enforcement sources in the United States have outlined a number of key areas they believe Jamaica should focus on as it grapples with a high homicide rate and the continued use of the gun, many of which are sourced from overseas illegally, as the major weapon of choice in the island. Speaking with the news last week, Jamaican-born New York Police Department Inspector Michael King said it was sad to see the level of crime in Jamaica and suggested that police leadership at the station level must be held accountable for implementing plans that will lead to crime reduction. Officers in charge of police stations must provide a crime plan on reducing crime in their areas, and where such officers fail to stem the crime flow, they should be replaced, said King, who heads the NYPD's Special Victims Unit and has more than 700 detectives under his command. The 22-year veteran of the NYPD added that policemen on the ground must be given every opportunity to have an input into the development of solutions to the crime problem because they have the underground intelligence. This intelligence, he said, should also be shared between all police stations, departments, and all other parts of the security apparatus. There is no short-term quick fix to solving crime. My impression is that various Jamaican governments have always gone for quick fixes instead of implementing long-range plans to break the back of crime, he said. The situation with crime in Jamaica is that it is at pandemic levels. This is unfortunate and it is sad to see. There must be significant resources given to security forces, he said, noting that the cops should also be paid well. Unless this is done, he said, it could lead to corruption among police officers. The Jamaica Police Federation is currently locked in a salary dispute with the government over unpaid overtime wages, going back to more than a decade, even as they press the government to improve its latest wage increase offer. Its latest wage negotiation meeting with the Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark on Friday ended without a resolution and is set to continue at 8 a.m. tomorrow. King, who was born in St. James and attended Cornwall College, said that efforts to rein in the runaway murder figures must go beyond community policing, as while this was an option in more structured development, it would be difficult to carry out community policing in areas where houses go up unplanned. And calling states of emergency a knee-jerk reaction, he said that flooding areas with police is a temporary fix and only serves to flush criminals from the space to other sections of the island, who then return after the police presence has been reduced. King said that better monitoring, aided with the right technological support, is needed to tackle the illegal gun trade from inside out, noting that guns were floating into the island from southern United States, Haiti, Honduras, and even Nicaragua. There is no magic bullet for fixing the crime problem in Jamaica, he said. Commander Armin Kate, who was with the Caribbean Anti-Terrorism Organization, said that in order for Jamaica to solve its crime problem, the island needs to end the politicizing of crime, lamenting that it was often used as a political football with a constant finger-pointing, charging that even statistics are sometimes skewed to politicize the problem. The current catch-and-release system was also a part of the problem, noted Kate, as it is the length of time it takes the courts to conduct trials after the apprehension of criminals. The main issue is that crime is taking place in poor neighborhoods, and the affluent Jamaicans are not directly affected by it, and so there is no urgency to deal with it, he told the news. Kate, who spent 22 years as a special agent for U.S. Homeland Security investigations and 34 years in the U.S. Coast Guard, all based in the Southern Command region of the Caribbean and Latin and South America, said Jamaica has to have a system to identify and catalog the leaders of crime and take them down. Take away the money and you will begin to drastically reduce crime. You will never be able to stop crime, but you can reduce it to manageable levels. You do this by following the money and cutting off this flow, he said, before echoing King's call for the sharing of information at all levels of the national security apparatus. Emphasizing that he was not speaking on behalf of the U.S. agencies, he urged the Jamaican authorities to make full use of all the systems and the technologies offered by the United States government in its fight against the crime. The private sector in Jamaica, he said, should also be engaged in the fight against the crime by utilizing the Customs Trade Partnership Against Terrorism, a program by which all cargo from Jamaica to the United States is scrutinized. NYPD Sergeant Don Riley, who was born in Jamaica and has served at various areas in the police department, including internal affairs, called for more and better resources for the security forces. Noting that corruption should be tackled head-on, she also urged the government to pay attention to the levels of education and the lack of opportunities, which could also trigger a rise in crime. Other high-ranking Jamaicans in the NYPD were not able to comment as they did not receive clearance to speak to the news on the issue. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.